Hello. I hope you had some meaningful reflections after our last talk, and maybe even tried sharing them with someone. For today, we're going a bit deeper into understanding what's actually going on beneath the surface. We can say that eating and body related struggles have two major aspects: the behavioral or symptomatic aspect, that includes obsessive thinking about food, counting calories, dieting, exercise plans, body checking or body avoidance, discipline, motivation, willpower, etc. In this area, the scope for action is limited, though still important, but we'll come back to that later. The other one is the psychological aspect. This is what is underneath. Even though the behaviors feel like they take up all the space, they're actually just the tip of the iceberg. Symptoms of deeper inner processes. And those processes are usually very painful. This is the internal turmoil that you feel, the frustration, the pain, the sadness, the anger. And we often wish all these struggles could just go away so we could live a normal life. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. And why not? Because every single behavior we have, no matter how confusing, irrational, or self-destructive it may seem, has a function. It serves a purpose. It's a way we found to try to help ourselves. Even the most extreme examples, like self-harm or suicidal thoughts, serve a purpose. When you ask someone why they self-harm, they often say, "So I can at least feel something." Physical pain is easier than emotional pain. People who have attempted suicide and survived often say, "I just wanted to stop. I needed the suffering to end." So no matter how destructive a behavior might appear, it's always an attempt to solve something or to relieve some unbearable internal pain. Struggles with food and body are the same. Overeating, undereating, obsessing, all those behaviors developed as strategies, as a kind of a resource to help us cope. They were the best we could do at the time. And in their own way, they worked, even if the cost was high. Until we truly understand what these behaviors are trying to do for us, until we can meet those underlying needs in different ways, they're very unlikely to go away. Because these behaviors are like messages from within. Parts of us that are saying, "I want you to see me. I want you to understand me. I want you to respect me. And I'm not really going anywhere until you do." So let's try to see. We're going to do a little guided meditation. It's more like a story, a metaphor for what we've been talking about so far. The only thing you need to do is sit comfortably, take a couple of slightly deeper breaths, close your eyes, listen and experience. Imagine you're standing on the edge of a wide, rushing river. The rain is pouring down, and before you even realize what's happening, the ground beneath you gives way, and you're pulled into the current. The water is rough, and you're struggling to stay afloat. Panic sets in. Just when you think you might go under, something solid floats by. A heavy log. You grab on instinctively, and it keeps your head above water. It's not comfortable, but it's keeping you alive. And so you hold on tight. Time passes. The current slows. You're no longer in danger, but you're still clinging to the log. You're tired and still scared, and it feels good to keep holding on. You start to notice the shore not too far away. It looks safe, maybe even peaceful. But the river becomes narrow in this part, and your log cannot pass through. The log that helped you survive may now be the very thing keeping you from moving forward. There are people calling from the shore. Just let go. Can't you see that you just need to let go? But they don't understand. You can't just drop what saved you, not without knowing how to stay afloat. So instead, you begin gently. You try loosening your grip. You practice floating for a few seconds, and then you grab back on. You try treading water. And eventually you swim around the log once, then again. And little by little you build the strength and the trust in yourself to reach the shore. Not because somebody told you to, but because you learned over time that you could. Take a nice breath and slowly open your eyes. Stay for a moment with whatever feelings, thoughts, images, or memories the story brought up for you. Let them freely be. Give yourself the time you need. You can pause the video and just sit with whatever came up. And when you're ready, I will offer some questions to further guide your reflections. What came up for you while you were listening? Notice if there were feelings coming up like sadness, anger, fear, excitement. Notice if there were body sensations coming up, like your breathing becoming more shallow, your heart pounding, your legs feeling like they want to move, your stomach growling, your jaw becoming tight, whatever you may have noticed. Notice if there were images that were coming up for you as you were listening. The meditation already offers images, but maybe some of your own were coming up as well. And finally, notice if there were specific memories from your life that were coming up. What would you say was the overall feel of this meditation for you? And again, when I say whatever comes up, I really mean whatever comes up. Because sometimes we can have a lot of content, it can really touch us, we can cry, we can remember a difficult time in our life that the story reminded us of, so on. But sometimes, and often, it is not that easy to connect. Maybe our mind was wandering and couldn't focus on the story. Maybe we felt frustrated because of this, like we weren't doing a good job. Either it was one or the other, you did it right. It is your impressions, your own internal world, reacting in its own specific way, communicating something important. It is equally relevant, whatever it is. You remember what we spoke about in the beginning, that we really can't do it all alone? I sincerely encourage you to take the first step and not carry your log alone. There are others out there with very similar logs and very similar raging triggers.